Geek Out! LaserDicks, you sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of LaserDicks. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ken.
And today we are talking about some new things that Ken got.
Ooh, yeah. And there's a theme to them. They
Oh.
both happen to be Rocky Horror. And that is why. We brought with us the lovely Maddie. She's over here.
Hello.
Hello, Maddie. She's from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
She's from Rocky Horror.
I'm in the actual movie.
Yes.
She performs Rocky Horror. She performs as part of a Shadowcast troupe of the Rocky Horror Picture Show here in Fairfax, Virginia.
University Mall Cinemas.
Every Saturday night at
University Mall
midnight.
Theaters. But yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Close enough.
Sorry. Get specific.
I used to work there.
Yeah?
I care.
Used to be in the show, actually.
I used to do the yeah.
Well, this is great. This
Yeah.
is great. We'll all have a bunch of experts here.
Yeah.
But that is exactly what I brought with me this evening because they had two releases of Rocky Horror.
Count them two.
One and a two. And the first one was, well, I'll talk about the first one a little bit. The first one's kind of like just a generic release. The second one was the 20th anniversary, and they went nuts with special features. So as we can see, it has this nice, lovely lips on the cover.
Yeah.
And it's just your standard single disc. I mean, there's nothing really special here. In fact, I put it in, and it's 4:3 aspect ratio, which makes me really upset.
Well, back in that day, that was the standard TV size.
I know, but it makes me upset whenever I run into that. But
You're a 21st century girl living in a 20th century medium.
apparently, don't make fun of me. Seriously, stop it, guys. Stop it. So yeah, it's nothing special here. But what I did find kind of cool was that they did include one or two special things in here besides just the 4:3 movie. But I should get a little closer here, shouldn't I? But yeah, we've got your standard extended play disc. There's only one here. Got a nice little cult film experience right up on the back, little story, everything like that. But what was nice about this one was at the very end they had like a little documentary about shadow casting, which I thought was really cool. They showed a bunch of kids way too young to be going to any modern shadow casting. They were like 12 and 13, and like I don't know. I mean, isn't the cutoff 16 at your guys's?
Well, it's supposed to be 18, but we have had children in the audience before. I think the youngest one that has been there when I performed was around 9, actually.
And there's no law about the show. Like the MPAA ratings are not legally binding at all. The theater voluntarily follows those rules, and it's a little give and take. Sometimes younger siblings come with their or whatever, and like for the Rocky Horror experience, like people bring younger people to it sometimes, like whatever. If they're comfortable exposing their children or siblings to that stuff, like it's not the cast's place to be like, hey, you can't do this, because there's nothing that a child can't legally see in the movie. And
since the movie,
and definitely not in the live production, because it's Virginia,
it's Virginia, no nudity. But at least since it's been around for so long, people know what to expect.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's not like a movie that just came out and like, I don't know if it's good or not.
If a parent doesn't know what's going on in Rocky Horror, then they've been living under a rock for the past 30 plus years, 40 years now.
Jeez, yeah, no. I actually was just watching a Cold Case episode that was themed around Rocky Horror.
I've seen that one. Barry Bostwick's in that episode, right?
He is. It was very nice. But they were just talking about how shadow casting like started up way back, like maybe like within the year of the movie came out. And
thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, and that blew me away. I didn't realize it started that fast. I'd love to like...
Well, because it already had been a live musical before then, so it already had a little bit of a following. And the movie really just kind of opened it up to a worldwide audience. Whereas, like, beforehand, it had mostly just been in England.
Then UK. I did actually read the wiki on it, because I sat down, I got bitten by the bug. Yeah. I blame you for it.
Oh, okay.
But, other than that, I mean, they just get a little bit details about the shadow casting. Nothing too crazy. They probably brought a camera one evening to watch a couple of them. So
I'm sure it got documented back in the day.
That day. It was a Tuesday, if I recall. So that's that. I mean, it's still nothing special. But then the 20th anniversary release came out, and boy howdy, this is a thick one.
Yeah, one of them big box sets.
Big box sets. Let me see how many we got here. We've got 4 sides, so I think that's 2 discs. 2 discs. Plus, they give you a wonderful book detailing all the like pictures of
thick book.
A pretty thick book.
It's pretty cool.
That's what they say. But detailing all the like the shadow cast members of a bunch of different groups throughout the U.S. Mm-hmm. In fact, some of them actually are the proto members to Maddie's own troupe today.
Yeah, some of the people in there. Jeff Baker, exactly. I got to perform with him a few times. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so did I. He was on his way out from the cast when I joined cast.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. In fact,
I didn't. He's in the book. I
he's in the book.
Very briefly skimmed through the book.
Yeah.
I saw like Sal Piro, and I've met Sal Piro. He's like the leader of the Rocky Horror fan club, basically.
Yeah, cool. Honestly, it's worth being picked up because I mean it's like a yearbook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you have any interest in Rocky and maybe any interest in LaserDiscs, it's worth picking up just to check this out. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get the album that comes along with it. They actually give you a CD of the music. That didn't include, but I was like, that's readily available on YouTube.
Is that the one that has like the pink cover?
Highly
posterized.
I don't know because it wasn't in the box.
That was the CD that I had growing up.
Okay. But other than that,
it's a very weird like disco mix of the Time Warp at the end.
Oh yeah, it has like all the random bits from the movie in it too.
Yeah,
I have that one.
Oh, that's pretty wild. So other than that, like this thing takes you to town in terms of special features. But in general, this is a widescreen release.
Hooray!
So
Ken's not sad.
I am not sad. I'm very happy. Let's see what else that we have on here. So the highlights. We talked about the fan book. The full-length participation track on a side has the 2 mono channels.
Mm-hmm.
It has
a commentary track.
Exactly. Except it's the participation track. So for those that don't know, Rocky Horror, the modern day version, when you do the shadow casting, has the callbacks that audience members will yell at the screen to kind of interact with and also make fun of the movie. Yeah. So
Mystery Science Theater 3000 style.
Exactly.
For those of you that don't know Rocky Horror.
Exactly.
But do know Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's a very narrow, margin.
I feel like there's a lot of overlap between the two fandoms, so I didn't help anyone.
Exactly. But they had a full-length participation track recorded specifically for this LaserDisc. And then we've got deleted musical sequences once in a while, and then superheroes, which we know, but Superheroes was actually in the movie for the UK version.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Us here in
for some reason cut out of the US version.
It was weird, guys. It was a little weird.
It's a minute long, if that.
And it's a good closure. I mean, it's a nice closing number.
Yeah, the VHS that I had growing up didn't have superheroes in it, and I always felt like watching it growing up. I was like, it has a very jarring cut where it's cut out, and I was constantly like, what the hell is going on here? And then when I started going to the University Mall version or screening, they have this, the 20th anniversary print, which has it restored back into the movie where it's supposed to be. And I was like, this makes so much more sense.
Exactly.
Whereas once in a while, I'm actually like glad that it's not in the movie because it really doesn't.
I think most
really
of the stuff,
help.
Yeah, I think most of the stuff is edited into the. Wait, you're making a face.
I am making a face because I love that song.
It's a great song. It's a good song, but I don't think. Granted, not like there's a really like clear storyline that flows through the movie, but like our friend Sophocles has a copy of the movie where once in a while is fitted back in, where it's supposed to be, and I've seen a live production of the musical, not the movie, but just like the straight up live show.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, well, there's places.
Around,
Amy Bell, our wife of Greg, the guy that used to run the show. Actually, both of them, not just Amy, but both of them were in a production of it back when I was on the cast in Baltimore.
Wow.
And I think I think the place in Baltimore where they did it does it like every Halloween or every October.
Okay.
But so it has it, and I was like, oh, okay. It's a pretty song, but it like I feel like it doesn't quite fit. Granted, like I said, the movie has its own weird flow. So And also in the live production, Rocky has a lot of spoken lines. It's weird. He talks.
I actually got the...
not just in the songs, but like he has dialogue.
I'll have to check that out because I've got the script open on my phone that I've been just reading in the metro, and it's fun checking out the differences.
What?
I thought you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
But we brought you in as the specialist, and I've been hogging
so
the mic on talking about Rocky.
Well, you both have been participating.
That's true.
So I'm the only one that hasn't.
You're older than me.
Yeah.
You've been around the block.
I have. I was on cast before you probably even knew the movie existed.
Oh, okay.
Wow, way to like throw her down like that.
No,
seriously.
I mean it's probably very accurate.
It was about 10 years ago that I started.
But
that was before at that same age. I didn't know what Rocky Horror was.
That's,
I didn't know until I started going to. I went to George Mason, and somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to go across the street?"
Wow, the late bloomer over here.
Oh yeah, okay. Now we got the actual late one.
Seriously, make fun of me.
Probably same year.
Oh.
So, anyways, these special features are pretty great. I'm gonna check out these special features. What do we got here? Seriously, guys. All right, but in any case, so let's talk about some of these special features here. So the side 1 and side 2 are generally just the rest of the movie, like a widescreen release. It's nice. Actually has closed captions.
Still in extended play.
Yes,
CLV.
correct. Still in extended play, but I noticed that it's CAV for the bonus features at the end. So,
and we were talking about that when you first cracked it open. I think it's because some of those special features use these freeze frame, frame by frame advanced, and you could only do that with CAV quality.
And now I can because I got a remote.
Oh
shit, son!
He bought a remote just so he could watch this.
Yes, unfortunately, my player cannot do the multiple audio, so we're gonna have to check it out on your player later.
That's true. And I made sure my remote's working.
Nice.
Last week when we were the other week when we were talking about it, I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And I like cracked open. I don't know why I grabbed my remote for real, like I'm pantomiming, but like I went and my remote wasn't working. I cracked it open, and one of the batteries had busted open, so corrosion was all over the place.
Ew.
Fun fact: white vinegar cleans that right up.
Nice. So does Coke.
Yeah,
Coke cleans everything up.
Yeah, but I like to drink Coke. I don't like to drink white vinegar.
Okay, that's fair.
If you're gonna use one of them, use the one you're not gonna drink. But yeah, so the movie, the first two sides proceed as normal, but then they have some cool endings. Like the first ending is what we're used to, and you guys are used to for the performance. It has it has the science or it has the superheroes in, but then they also have the edited one that the U.S. has. So it's a little bit odd there, but then they also have the time warp alternate credits. The credits roll with a more upbeat time warp. So I mean, I guess maybe that was an edit that some places got. Because I mean, is there a chance that they would have like recut the movie a couple of years later?
Could have. It happened, especially in the 70s, and studio, like especially with like international films.
Yeah.
I think technically this is a British film that was released in America by Fox. Yeah. So like they used to do that all the time. Like remember when we talked about Brazil?
Yeah. Oh jeez.
Yeah, but I do know that in the version that we watch, in the credits, it has a little like pretty version of like a piano version of science fiction double feature.
I think that's
then it cuts into a instrumental version of the time warp.
Yeah, okay.
Halfway through the credits.
Okay,
but that might still be yet another re-edit of it.
Yeah. Then finally, to cap it all off with the re-edits, there's the misprint ending. Apparently, some Rocky prints were struck with superhero visuals, but the criminologist dialogue. The criminologist visuals were then omitted. This misprint ending has been reconstructed. So
yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, we kind of skipped through that. It was just like,
we
okay.
Had, people from the cast over watching it, and everyone was really uncomfortable because you could see Brad and Janet singing superheroes, but it was the criminologist singing.
That's so weird.
Or talking.
It was doing his spoken word.
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
Lost in time, lost in space.
Yeah, exactly. But you saw Brad and Janet doing their things, so everyone was just really confused and uncomfortable.
Yeah. So it sucks if that's the movie that you saw in theaters.
This is getting to like Clue level.
Yeah. Oh God, I need to watch Clue again.
It's Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Happy birthday, Tim Curry.
Happy birthday, Kim Curry.
Kim Curry.
What?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Go Tim Curry.
Yeah, indubitably. I don't know what other catchphrases he does in The Wild Thornberrys. I love that. I love that movie.
Smashing.
Smashing.
I love that meme. To this day, it still hasn't died.
Oh my god.
It still hasn't gotten boring or anything.
All the GIFs that are edited, so it's like regular and then like a smash cut, and suddenly he's there.
It's Nigel.
My favorite is the Little Mermaid, where he jumps up and then like the water hits and then
Oh no, I really like the one where it's sweet transvestite, but then he throws off the cape and surprise, it's Nigel.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That's a really good one.
I'm gonna look that up later.
Yeah. How fitting, how accurate.
Bringing your A game.
Universe.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's ones from It.
I'm sure there are.
I'm currently reading It.
You should look it up.
Whoa.
Oh!
Cut it out.
All right, so side 3 here. Side 3, we get into some of the deleted scenes, and obviously superheroes is there, and it's normally in the movie, so we're going to skip over that. It was cut from the domestic issue of Rocky. Wait, Rocky? I don't refer to it as Rocky, like...
I refer to it as Rocky.
Oh, well then don't you get confused with Rocky Balboa?
Never.
No.
Never.
We always know the context.
No, within my circle of friends, like if I'm talking to Jake, it gets confusing because he loves Rocky.
Yeah.
But like in my circle of friends, if I'm referring to Rocky the boxing movie, that's usually what I call it, Rocky the boxing movie.
Oh.
Which is weird because yes, the full title of Rocky is Rocky Horror Picture Show, but within the Shadowcast, it's Rocky. You just say Rocky because everyone knows what you're talking about. So like I did it for 5 years. It's in my skin.
It's in your skin. Fair enough. All right, but then we have once in a while. This song, deleted from all versions, has been restored after extensive archival research.
Purse right now is doing an excellent impression of Brad. Singing the song. Smoking a drag. There you go.
Smoking the drag.
Perfect.
But then we have time warp alternate takes, and this was what I really wanted to show the cast when they came over.
Is that what you and I were watching when you were just testing it? Which is so weird because it's like an alternate version of the audio.
Yeah,
because it's just like it's recut ambient audio, so like it doesn't have any of the song, but it has like the sound effects of their like tap shoes hitting the ground,
and they're singing,
and then like. Yeah. And just a step to the right. Yeah. Silence.
It's pretty fantastic.
They all sound like little bugs.
Yeah.
Another thing that made us all really uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it's just weird because it's like all just like the takes that you would see like 2 seconds of, you get to watch for like a whole minute, and you're just like.
I thought it would be neat so like people could see.
Oh no, it was really cool.
It is neat,
awesome.
But it just makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we're so used and it's so dead set in our minds on how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and you see how bad they are. The extras are at dancing the dance that you spend like 5 minutes before the show like perfecting.
Yeah.
Just for like 30 seconds of performance.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, no, I remember. Even I'm 5 years removed from the show, and I was like, God, these people don't know how to do the time warp, and they're in the movie that we based the dance off of.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
But, we were basing it off of the edited together, smash cuts.
I also remember seeing those removing that one guy eating the food for like a whole minute. He just kept eating, and we're like, all right then.
Just keep it with the one.
Yeah.
Well, then they didn't have to hide the concession table. They just like put it out in the
that was interesting to look at too, to see all the food they had.
Yeah. So let's see here. So the next parts, we have 5 takes of Brad and Janet undressing.
That was my favorite part.
Whatever reason. Like, it's all the angles that you see in the movie, but they're the long form, so they're not cut. But
and also, again, with the weird audio edits.
Yeah.
I remember watching this one too. Like, it was just like they pulled the audio, like the finished audio from the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of matched it up.
But not really.
But not at all.
Yeah, no.
like it was like watching a bad American dub of like Godzilla.
It's good. You can't tell, but I'm moving my mouth.
Yeah. Good job.
I just remember one that Susan Sarandon and Janet, she just had the weirdest look on her face. She was just like...
Can't imagine why she would have a weird look on her face when she's being undressed on camera.
Okay.
And doused with a bloody rag. My favorite bit, though, out of all this is that they specifically noted Here in the fifth take, this version is shown of Brad close-up angle. Notice Brad has a large spot on his pants.
Yeah.
They specifically wasted ink to tell us that Brad was... a little spot right there. I wonder what that is. A little gross.
I love how they also just stopped the camera so you could make sure you saw it, and then they kept going.
They're like, look at this fucking stain. This slob.
Look at the stain. Isn't it neat?
Oh, no.
That's right. I go there. All right. But then moving right along, we have an alternate take of the seduction scenes. Specifically, Janet's scene. They didn't have Brad's in here, but they basically wanted to point out some different versions. But it's all one take in the movie, right? Mm-hmm. So they probably just didn't use this one.
Yeah.
But it's a little different because it is longer than the version used in the film. Frankfurter's wig falls off instead of Janet pulling it off. Janet turns on the light and she pulls up the sheets to cover herself. So it's a little different, and again, they use the audio from the movie to overdub it, and it doesn't match up on occasion because you can clearly see her like moving her mouth to talk, and it's a little weird, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, there was also a lot more random pauses there where they just kind of looked at each other and weren't sure what to do. So it was like during our show.
Yeah. So I guess
it's
so I guess it's Mad Lib too. Then this bit in the movie.
Because during our show we just put up a sheet, and then whoever's playing like Frank and Janet that night, we run up and we kind of look at each other like, all right, what are we gonna do tonight? And then you just go.
So you have no planning beforehand.
Sometimes we do. Usually it's just all improv, or like, hey, I'm going to take this out of your butt.
Hey, as long as it's not the exact same thing every single week like it was
true.
For the 5 years that I was on the show.
That's true.
No, you do make it fresh. I remember when you worked in an inside joke that we had early in the week, stop sexualizing NASA.
I mean, my favorite is still when Oscar literally whipped out 2 Game Boys and they played Pokemon.
That's a good one. That's a really
kidding
good
me?
one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oscar's great.
Oscar's a fun dude.
I don't know if I met Oscar.
No.
He was
on cast a long time ago.
Yeah,
he went to a different cast.
Yeah.
I haven't met too many other casts other than the DC one. They're nice people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I went and saw them the other night. It was great. I got to play in the Virgin contest.
I saw.
Oh yeah, that was on Snapchat.
Yep.
Oh man, that was kind of fun. And I recreated it for when I went to the other show.
My show?
Your show. Yeah, I went to your show and I wore a Spider-Man suit and just the edit.
And no one could tell it was Ken.
No one had any idea. He actually was Betty that night then. The audience loved it.
Yeah. So so for those that don't know, there's a competition to get the audience going in the beginning of Rocky Horror where we get all the people who haven't seen it upstage and you send the people that are underage back to their seats after singing something embarrassing. But then we get them to, play a fun game where, touch boobies.
You fake an orgasm.
Yeah. And my faked orgasm was, oh, God, Aunt May, why?
Oh, God.
Yeah, backstage we saw that he was about to do, and we were like, all right, is he going to say something about Uncle Ben, Mary Jane, or Gwen? And then that just came right out of left field, and we were like, oh, no. And then they came backstage. It was...
No Bryce Harper for you.
Oh.
So that was quite fun. I liked it. Let's see. So what else we got here? Floor show preparation. Yeah, so it showed a lot of stuff because it pretty much cuts from Frank putting on all the boas and everything on people to right to him flicking on the lights and everything. Like you don't see any else of him, but this extended stuff shows him getting ready in front of a mirror.
Sitting down in front of a vanity
with the caked on. It was probably cool whip.
Yeah, and it was falling off his face at that point.
Yeah.
But it was really fun to look at that part too. Even though there was no music going on, even though he flicked on the lights and you just pause, make sure Frank's ready. All right, now we can put the music on.
Yeah. Only sound effects.
Much prefer the way that it's cut in the final version.
Me too. Exactly. That would be weird to have to put together.
Yeah,
if we were doing that.
Exactly. So, but then, because it's you can't have as many props as the movie when you're doing a shadow casting. You gotta streamline everything. So then, sing-alongs. I mean, that's kind of cool. Sing-alongs. They do touch me, and Sweet Transvestite.
Yeah, the funny part about touch on there was that for some parts they had the other characters say Creature of the Night, but certain characters didn't say it. So you're like, wait, am I supposed to be Janet, or are we supposed to do this? But I'm gonna include this line, and then don't they have a Sweet Tea too on there? Yeah, and then they included I think Janet's lines, but they didn't include Brad's lines. So
really.
okay. Or they included one or the other. They had Frank do his lines were all out, and you had to do Frank's part, but you also had to do someone else's part too, and you're like, oh, okay.
That's awkward.
It's basically if they were sing-songy enough.
Yeah, we were all just watching. We're like, oh,
sorry,
okay.
Brad's lines are too spoken word for this sing-along. It's a sing-along, not a spoke-along.
Other than that, we got some trailers, still pictures. So that was the frame by frame that you were talking about. Then finally, I think this is just the CAV side. Oh no, that you're right. The CAV side for the still pictures, but this might be a CAV side too. This is the Rocky Horror double feature video show. So this is a full documentary, which is archived footage, interviews with the cast, extensive sections with the director and set designer. So this specifically was from play to movie to shadow casting, which I thought was very cool. Just because I don't know too much about the play. And now that I'm reading more about it, I'd love to see it because apparently it was just pulled out of his ass. Just like, hey, we're just gonna put. I like science fiction. Let's just put random bits of science fiction in a play, just make it a little fun for him. And so I love reading about that. I mean, and watching it too. I mean, this happens to be a LaserDicks, but it was cool. It had interviews with everybody.
Whatever can, just flaunt around the fact that you know how to read,
Mr. Illiterate.
It's not my fault. I'm listening to the book on tape.
But I think most of the cast was there. We had Brad, we had Janet, Meatloaf. I think we had a little bit.
Yeah, there
Meatloaf.
was a little bit of Meatloaf. The cast was there on for I think 2 minutes, and then wasn't it the set designer that just decided to talk the entire time?
We fast forwarded a lot through him. I mean, granted,
they talked to the costume designer too about how
Sue Blaine.
The main influence was 80s punk rock, or I guess not 80s because it wasn't the 80s yet, but
70s.
Yeah,
it was mostly the set designer talking. There's a little bit of Richard O'Brien talking about it, but it was mostly just the set designer going, "We had this."
Basically,
and this.
I'm trying to figure out if I've seen this documentary. Because I think the DVD that I have also has a from stage to screen documentary.
Did it talk about the 20th anniversary where they joined the Shadowcast? Because that was cool. They got a lot of the cast members to join the Shadowcast.
Yeah, Nell hopped on stage. Yeah. You can see her doing the tap dance with everyone for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I
Meatloaf
remember that.
Sung his song.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think they got Janet and Brad, and they even got Tim Curry there. It was really cool.
Ooh.
So yeah, I mean, this is all in all pretty fun release. I mean, I'm more than down to check out maybe a little bit later, see the audio participation track works. But all in all, I mean, it's pretty cool. Especially, and I didn't note, but they made the participation track based off of Long Beach.
2 different casts.
Yeah,
right?
Long Beach, California, and the west of Los Angeles. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of this box.
Yeah,
$40 well spent. I'd say so, because that was a fun night. We got
really
everybody
cool,
together.
Yeah. Everyone really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was a little worried because as the cast of the shadow cast of Rocky Horror, are they sick of Rocky Horror? But no, we got to see everything. It was great.
Yeah,
so
it was good.
Yeah,
hooray!
So that was a great little chat. Maddie, do you wanna plug your
yeah,
Shadowcast
definitely.
again?
We are the Transylvanian Concubines. You can visit our website at rhps.life, and we perform every Saturday night at midnight. University Mall Theaters in Fairfax, $6. Bring your friends.
Across the street from George Mason University.
Right across the street from George Mason.
Bring your friends, confuse them, arouse them, all at the same time.
Scare the shit out of them. Yeah.
Hey.
Bring your friends. We'll fuck with them. Bring your enemies. We'll fuck them up. There you go.
Oh man. Well, alrighty. Any closing notes, Chris?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time for that thing.
Yeah.
LaserDicks.
This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a new commentary every Monday. We've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.